Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First, quick recap. My neighbor's mother-in-law told me her daughter was expecting a stork delivery next year and demanded that I either get rid of my cats or she'll get rid of them for me, and I threatened to bury her if she touched the hair on their fuzzy little heads. It might sound extreme, but you weren't here last summer. On to the update. First of all, I followed the lovely, thoughtful advice of several commenters and talked to the police. Now, I didn't file for a restraining order. What happened was the chief, small town, came into my work for coffee. We have free coffee for on-duty officers and everyone knows that I clean the machines and make sure the creamers are stocked. And I explained. I didn't mention that she threatened my cats, because he's old school and an animal that doesn't work isn't worth anything. But I did mention that she's been standing outside and screaming at me when I go for my morning run, which is right after I get off work, and that it's making me very uncomfortable. I also explained that I didn't want to formally do anything because I didn't want to hurt my neighbor or the daughter. He nodded, called me 6 kinds of idiot. I can't remember who said I shouldn't set myself on fire to keep them warm, but he repeated it almost verbatim and told me he'd talk to them in an unofficial capacity as long as I promised to file in an official capacity when stuff goes downhill. So Christmas night, one of the officers stopped by my work to tell me what happened in the wide-eyed awe that you only get when you witness something you just can't believe happened. First, the chief, who was an officer as backup, told the family, the neighbor, mother-in-law, and her daughter that I was nervous with the way she kept yelling at me when I went on my morning runs, and that after what happened last summer, I had every reason to be nervous. This woman throws a tantrum, started screaming, stomping her feet, picked up a piece of the Nativity set and threw it at the chief. I gaped when the officer told me this. For context, this is a deeply Christian area, and messing with a Nativity is almost sacrilege around here. So the chief, having had enough and not caring one bit for rude, entitled people, arrested her for assaulting a police officer. She went to jail and has seen the error of her ways. Okay, no, she didn't. When I got off work yesterday morning, my neighbor and her mother-in-law's daughter came to meet me in tears. She told me that she'd bought their mortgage and she was going to evict them if I didn't drop the charges. The charges, I would like to remind you that I did not press. I think I just stared at them in an astonishment for a good 5 minutes before my brain rebooted. Told him to talk to the bank, explained that someone is claiming to have bought their mortgage, and ask if it's true. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Now, that would have been bad enough, except that the bank manager they spoke with happened to be Jay. For the sake of anonymity and because I'll always have a fondness for the men in black, Jay is a notorious gossip. She can't pass 5 people without telling all of them every detail of her day. So when she learned that not only did someone claim falsely that a mortgage had been bought, not only did someone threaten them with eviction, which apparently only a bank can do if they didn't do something, but that person was the mother-in-law. Well, I'm surprised her flapping lips didn't herald a wind advisory. And I do mean that in the best possible way. If you're reading this, love you, Jay. Never change. Even if she gets off with a slap on the wrist, not likely. Our chief has many memorable qualities, but he does hold a grudge. She can't even get a bail hearing because her lawyer has to appeal for an interjudicial judge. I think that's what it's called when you get a substitute judge, because all 3 of ours are on vacation and the earliest ETA is Jan 3rd. Oh, and the bank, the one the mortgage was through, is also pressing charges, because it's illegal to claim you own a mortgage you don't. Oh, and her name is Mud in our town. Welcome to life in a small town, witch. Hey guys, it's Crown. Hope you're doing well. I started a brand new channel called That One Story. It'll mostly include stories coming from different subreddits, but will definitely include some entitled people getting their comeuppance. I'll leave the link in the description below, so please subscribe to the channel to listen to the latest stories, cause I'll make sure to post videos on a daily basis. Thank you and have a great day. My best friend as of 9 years now is a super sweet guy with autism and truckload of trauma to boot. Let's call him Rusty. Rusty is very cuddly, will paint you a picture for your birthday, and is exceptionally funny. He'll go above and beyond for even the worst people. Though lately he's working on not doing so when he can't help it. He has a massive outcast in grade school. During his final year, Rusty became pretty platonically interested in this one girl, who, to be honest, even I thought was a great fit for him. Patient, funny, sympathetic, and respectful. Or so we thought. This jerk had the audacity to snap off at Rusty the early morning after his birthday. Rusty invited her to his birthday party, and she was disrespectful to him throughout, and Rusty tried to confront her. I woke up to my poor friend sobbing over the phone about a nasty fight they ended up having, with plenty of screenshots. It was 3 a.m. my time and I stayed on the phone as he explained that the witch ripped on him for being an annoying stupid child, among a bunch of other stuff. They are only months apart. Both were the same age in years. The girl apparently did have a small history of narcotics. So, what stuck out to me most though was when I managed to calm Rusty down a bit and he told me about a time where this idiot didn't wash her dishes with soap or a sponge. The soap was there, the sponge was there, water was just fine. No specific beliefs or practices in this household, no monetary issues. She was more than well off. Very spoiled by her parents in fact, just extremely lazy. This self-proclaimed adult scrubbed the plates clean with only her grubby bare fingers, unwashed, and the tap water right in front of him. Even offered Rusty a utensil fresh out of the sink for a shared tub of ice cream. I was raging mad. But once we both got some deep breathing in, I had to keep myself from busting out cackling. This jerk was a circus act and a half. Still pissed but also too tired to act. I calmly told Rusty that I'll tell that witch to get lost first thing after I wake up for the day. I blasted the girl on a sunny Saturday afternoon. Walls of text from her on how Rusty needed to grow up. Walls of text from me on calling her out on her behavior and overall nonsense. All that fun stuff. Ate a full English breakfast, though I had to stop here and there for a laugh at the ridiculous excuses. Apparently she didn't know Rusty especially hated the unnecessary touching and thought him trying to squirm away was him cuddling back. Rusty doesn't squirm for any reason when he wants to cuddle. She eventually gives up and tries to threaten me. I've had my fun by now, but before I leave I add some performative art for her to enjoy. I flip on my phone camera and start filming as I walk to my kitchen sink, pick up the dish soap, pour a generous dollop of Dawn onto the dirty plate, and scrub it with a brand new sponge. Almost 2 minutes of me calmly washing a dish one-handed and placing it into my drying rack in silence. Sent. Can feel a jerk about to explode. Pluck and ban her from Rusty and I's personal server. This was 4 years ago now, and the video is long gone. Deleted it afterward and chose not to send Rusty a copy so as to not make him feel guilty. But I'll never forget when we were last able to meet up a few months ago. Gave him some good consensual cuddles. Helped him mess with the jerk Minecraft world they shared, which he had a hard time letting go of years after the fact. Watched TV and ate ice cream with clean spoons. Is much happier now. Backstory. I had a friend who we will call Josh, which is obviously not his actual name. Josh and I have been friends since we were young. Turns out, like in Transformers, wrestling and Hot Wheels makes it really easy to make friends in elementary school or primary school for those on the other side of the Atlantic. Josh originally was a pretty good guy, but his parents had issues with one another and eventually split up. His mother remarried, and his stepfather began to spoil Josh rotten. Josh began to become a lot more antagonistic, and we grew distant as the years went on. But I tried to remain friendly with him, hoping he'd eventually see the error of his ways. He went through multiple relationships, all of them ending by his hand. But I was unaware as he only spoon-fed me information and made the other party look like they were in the wrong. The incident. Josh had recently had a breakup with a girl we will be calling Megan, who I was friendly with before the breakup. Whilst I was worried about Megan due to us being friends, I stupidly decided to check on Josh first. Now I had to let Josh borrow stuff from me, including multiple gaming consoles, clothes, and even a few bits of furniture. I tried to be a good friend, but I didn't know that I was being taken advantage of. We had decided to order some pizza and Josh had unwittingly ordered from local pizza where Megan worked. Local pizza doesn't deliver. Josh persuaded me to go and get the pizza. In reality, he basically demanded it, but he was too lazy to drive that way. I decided to bite the bullet and just drive my way to local pizza and walked inside. Lo and behold, I met with Megan, who was on a break at the moment. Megan and I spoke about things and the topic of Josh came up. He was busy and our order wasn't even done yet, so I didn't mind stopping to chat until Megan began to tell me her side of things. It turned out that Josh had been a major jerk to Megan, until Megan's brother Drake stepped in and pulled his sister out of this relationship. Drake had been a friend as well, but Josh had fed me lies, so I stopped speaking to Drake. I didn't want to believe Megan at first until she called Drake, who corroborated her story. It was a lot to swallow. Josh's breakups began to make a lot more sense now, and I felt sick. Was I friends with a horrible person? I asked Megan some questions and she told me her side of the story, and ended up calling out a lot of Josh's flat-out lies. After the pizza was done, I promised Megan that I would talk to Josh about this as someone who'd been close to him for years. She thought that maybe I'd be able to get through to him. Oh, were we both wrong. I got back to Josh's. We just spoke about things until I managed to get on the topic of Megan. I mentioned to him that we spoke and what she said. Big mistake. He got angry and called Megan a fat lying witch and declared that I shouldn't believe her. I told him that Drake corroborated her story and that I was going through a lot of stress trying to make heads or tails of all of this. Josh, now absolutely livid at me, screams at me, "Shut up! Get out! You want to believe that witch? Take your stuff and go!" I was shocked. I tried to say something, but Josh cut me off. I said, "Get out! Take your stuff and get out of my house! You want to believe her and that stupid brother of hers? Fine. Tell everyone how much of a horrible person I am. Let's see who believes you." The malicious compliances. Yep, you read that right, my dear reader. Compliances. Plural. Now, whilst I'm not a big fan of confrontation, I also despise being yelled at. He wants me to take my stuff and go? So be it. I just give him an "Okay, Josh, I'll take my things and go." So I began to take it all back. Gaming consoles, clothes, and even grabbed the stand-up mirror I'd let him borrow ages ago. He tried to stop me multiple times, but I simply pushed past him and reiterated his words. He wanted me to shut up, grab my things and go, so I did. The PS2 I let him borrow? Taking that back. GameCube he borrowed so he could play some games he got at a thrift store? That's mine, taking that home. I took everything that was mine, packed it into my car, and ignored him as he screamed, ranted, and raved at me, and threatening to call the police. I simply dared him to, as I was only taking back my things. When I left, I called Megan and Drake and told them what happened. They said they had my back in case things went awry after this. Then, I let them in on the second thing he said. Tell everyone how much of a horrible person he is. Okay, Josh, bet. Megan, Drake, and I went through our contacts for anyone who knew Josh and told him what happened. One of these people was Josh's own mother, who was absolutely livid at him, as Josh was living in his home on his mother and stepfather's dime. The fallout. Josh's reputation pretty much collapsed out from under him as evidence came to light, and Josh's various exes, emboldened by Megan and Drake, coming out with their stories, began to spread their own stories on what had happened. Josh's friend circle turned on him rather quickly, finding out how much of a jerk he was actually. What made all of this worse for Josh was all of these stories had evidence, such as texts, camera footage, and audio recordings, and all of this evidence making it obvious that those Josh hurt weren't lying. Josh's mother and stepfather ended up pulling his sizable allowance due to this, and he couldn't afford his home and was forced to move back in with them. Josh and I still don't talk anymore, and he had to sell off a lot of his furniture and personal belongings to pay off the debt he'd managed to rack up after his allowance was pulled. I've heard that Josh has changed, and is getting better now, but after the crap he put me through, I'd rather be keeping my distance. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.